Quiet down, Trump. Quiet down, Trump. My friends, come over this way, though. You can handle the sun for a little while. Come, if most of you can anyway. Come on over if you can. All right, friends, here we go. My name is Robert Weissman. I'm co-president of Public Citizen. We're here today to protest the Paramount Warner Brothers merger, to protest the seediness of corruption of the CBS network celebrating the President of the United States. We are used to corruption and displays of authoritarianism in the era of Donald Trump. This building itself displays that corruption and authoritarianism. It is the Institute of Peace. It was illegally closed by Donald Trump, as so many other organizations and agencies have been. Its name has been preposterously altered to the Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace. The warmonger president puts his name on the Institute of Peace. We're used to corruption down the street at the White House, where the East Wing has been destroyed to build a corporate-backed and anonymous donor-funded ballroom. Further down the street at the Justice Department, where the president's visage hangs from the side of the great building, the department has been corrupted so that it even charges criminally civil rights groups with supporting the Ku Klux Klan. We're used to all of these things. What is unusual tonight is an actual celebration, a public celebration of corruption. And that is exactly what is happening tonight, as apparently Donald J. Trump will join his oligarch friends, the Ellisons, to be celebrated for gifting them TikTok and facilitating a merger with Paramount Warner Brothers. Well, we're going to talk today about the dangers of that merger, but there's going to be a through line from the various presenters today, which is they're celebrating corruptly because they think the deal is done, and the deal ain't done. The merger is going to have its day in court, and it's not going to survive judicial review. Okay, let's get started with our awesome speakers and even music coming So stay tuned for that. We begin with the remarkable Becca Balint, representative from Vermont. Come on up. Tell us some truth.
All right, thank you so much. All right, we're going to just adjust the mic. Yes, I'm Becca Balint. I represent the state of Vermont, and I serve on the Antitrust Subcommittee in the House of Representatives. And I want to, yes, exactly. We need more antitrust work. Absolutely. I want to start by thanking everyone who came out here tonight on this beautiful evening. I know you could be anywhere on such a beautiful night, but you chose to come out here to stand up for your country. And you're doing the hard, important work of having your voice heard at a time when there is so much corruption around us. And showing up like this, it matters. It matters to the powerful people who are gathering tonight, who are counting on our silence. They're counting on us feeling like all hope is lost. They're counting on us feeling like we cannot overcome our overwhelm and are tired. They're counting on us believing that change is not possible. And as the previous speaker said, this is not a done deal, and we must continue to fight back. And I'm here because of that, and you're here because of that, and we're here together, and that makes a difference. I need people to understand that. People in Vermont ask me all the time, does it matter if we show up to protest? Yes. Yes, it does. Not only because it gives us the courage to keep fighting, but it gives other people the idea that, hey, maybe we should join in this pushback, because that's what we need more of. So right now, you got David Ellison, probably as I speak in that building right behind me, raising a glass to his friend, his supporter, his patron, Donald Trump. Now think about that for a moment. Think about that. We're out here demanding accountability, which we have a right to do, not just as members of Congress, but the people have a right to do, demanding accountability. And while we're doing that, if we're doing the work of the people, by the people, and for the people, we're doing that work, and inside, they are celebrating power. That's what they're celebrating, power. And corruption, you bet it, you bet. So look, Mr. Ellison very much owes the president because his company, Paramount, is about to buy Warner Brothers, which many of you know. And with a wave of the hand of approval from the Department of Justice. Think about that. The Department of Justice that is supposed to be the top cop looking out for our best interests. And that's not at all what we see from this administration. Just a hand wave, no concern for the public good, just a quiet green light for massive consolidation of power. This corrupt and dangerous merger will increase corporate power across the board. And we already have too much corporate power manipulating what we are able to see and hear on networks and on social media platforms. It will mean fewer voices. It will mean fewer independent voices. It will mean fewer competitors. It will mean fewer checks on the influence of a handful of billionaires who already have way too much control over our lives. And in this instance, the corruption is in plain sight. They act like there are no consequences for them, like there will never be consequences, no accountability, that they are immune. This is the culture they have created in such a short amount of time. And the biggest insult to all of us is they don't even pretend anymore. There's no effort to hide it, no attempt to disguise it. It's just out in the open, raw, unchecked power being used to game the system against all of us. Corporate America, as you well know, has been unwilling to stand up to this president. And that's because they continue to benefit at the expense of the rest of us. They get more power, they get more influence, they get more money, while we see our voices being silenced. So let me bottom line it for you. If Trump promises profits, they will follow. If Trump promises access, they will pay. If he demands loyalty, they will give it. And that's not at all what this country is founded on. That's not the values of the people that I represent. And I know it's not your values. Because in this nation, we actually do believe in fairness. We believe in competition. We believe that no one, no matter how wealthy or how well connected, should be able to rig the system for their own benefit. If and when this rubber stamp merger goes through, one mega business will control CNN, CBS, and TikTok. It is outrageous, and it's dangerous. Think about the scope of that. News, entertainment, culture, information, all under one umbrella, all under the control of one man. The president, who is a would-be dictator, the tyrant who is asking all of us to bow down before him. That is way too much power concentrated in one place. And we know what happens, right? We know what happens when power gets consolidated in that way. Prices go up, wages go down, people lose their jobs, and voices get squeezed out. I imagine that inside that building, they are laughing, they're sipping wine, they're toasting to one another in their good fortune, while they plan on slashing good union jobs, reducing choices for everyone, and making the life of artists and creators across this country so much harder. Writers, editors, camera operators, musicians, people who make the content we all rely on will be the ones who pay this price. And I was out in Los Angeles not too long ago talking to folks on the ground, and people who work in the business of entertainment and news gathering, they are terrified about this merger. I have heard the figure of 250,000 people losing their jobs because of this merger. Good paying jobs, jobs in the middle class that power this country. And so a handful of executives and shareholders will walk away with even more money and even more power. And this is not in the interest of we, the people. And Trump's con, it's so obvious now, right? This is a shakedown. This is a corporate shakedown, and unfortunately, too many corporations in this country are so willing to oblige. Just remember big tech, right? At the inauguration, sitting right behind the president. You couldn't even see his cabinet members because they were sitting in the back. It was big tech right behind him. Remember that. Access is for sale with this president. Influence is for sale. And if you're not a billionaire, you're expected to accept your fate. That's what we see every day from this administration. Well, not here tonight. Not on our watch. And it's not just me, it's all of you. It's people across this country that know what is happening. And even people who have never been activated to go to a rally are now coming out to the streets because they see what is happening. It's grift, it's corruption, and it's punishing the rest of us. Well, yes, absolutely. So when we show up, this is how we remind them that this country does not actually belong to a handful of powerful insiders. It belongs to us. It belongs to us. And we are not going to let them take it without a fight. We, the people, we the people, we the people, we the people. One more time, we the people, we the people. We can and we must do everything we can to stop this merger. Thank you so much.
Next up, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, our friend and crusader for justice, Representative Jamie Raskin.
Hey man, how are you? Hey guys. It's a beautiful day to be fighting for antitrust law, freedom and democracy, and social justice. It's a little hot out here today on Capitol Hill. I like to say it's not the heat, it's the stupidity. The kind of stupidity that would lead them to broadcast their political and financial corruption in public in a building devoted to peace that they swiped from the American people and shut down. So I want to start by saluting the real staff for the Institute of Peace, which is fighting for the rights of the staff and the workers and for the project and for the mission of the Institute of Peace. And they won a victory in the district court that was stayed. I can't remember if that was in the shadow docket by our corrupt Roberts Court or the appeals court, but I think that they wanted to wait and see about Donald Trump's monarchical claim of unitary executive power over every federal agency and department that's been created. Let's hear it for the U.S. Institute of Peace for real, the real Institute of Peace. Now, the newly Trumpified Institute of Peace, I think it's got his name on it now, the Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace, like the Donald J. Trump Dulles Airport and the Donald J. Trump Kennedy Center. I think they're proposing the Donald J. Trump Lincoln Memorial. We're in April. And I proposed at the beginning of April a compromise about this. I don't think we've got to name everything for Donald Trump, but there are some holidays I think we can compromise on. How about Happy Donald Trump April Fool's Day? That's something we could put together. But anyway, my friends, this newly Trumpified Institute of Peace is not to be confused with the new Trump concoction, the Board of Peace, set up as a rival to the United Nations with billion-dollar contributions collected from the oil monarchies, from Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and Qatar. And Donald Trump has also promised $1.2 million that he is essentially embezzling from the American people in the State Department to put into this new Board of Peace. And the director of the trademark office came over to the Judiciary Committee, and I asked him to explain why he registered a trademark on behalf of Donald Trump and the Board of Peace when it is illegal under the Lanham Act for anybody to register a trademark for somebody else. And he couldn't answer the question. I asked him whether the Board of Peace that he had registered the trademark for was a public entity or a private entity, and he said he didn't know. We asked him whether it was registered or incorporated in America or in another country. He said he didn't know. With Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, this guy from the Patent and Trade Office, I'd say Donald Trump has a staph infection. The corruption is pervasive throughout the Trump administration. But anyway, we're gathered here together tonight in the building behind us because David Ellison is hosting a dinner to honor President Trump, a dinner that's designed to cement the Ellisons to the president in their years-running corrupt merger scheme. We know that first Paramount took over Warner Brothers Discovery. First they merged with Skydance, right? Skydance took over Paramount. Now Paramount and Skydance want to take over Warner Brothers Discovery to create the new conglomerate monstrosity of Paramount, Skydance, Warner Brothers Discovery, a new mega monopoly crafted to consolidate old and new media in the interests of the MAGA movement and the Donald Trump family. And we're here to say, hell no. We're going to stop it, and we're going to fight this every step of the way. Now, the chairman of the FCC, Mr. Carr, who took $12,000 in a modest gift of Kennedy Center tickets from Ellison, briefly paused Ellison's purchase of Paramount simply to make sure that the president got everything he was asking for and the quid pro quo was complete. He got a $16 million contribution to his presidential library, millions of dollars more promised in free advertising on all their platforms, a promise to install a Trump-friendly spy and minder in the CBS newsroom, embedded right in the newsroom, like out of Putin's Russia or Orban's Hungary. But we saw what happened to Orban's Hungary, right? They also got, I think, a promise to cancel The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, which created a popular rebellion. And we stopped that one. But only then did Carr permit the merger to proceed. Now the Ellisons are hitting repeat on this rotten merger and bribe scheme, this time to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. And tonight, behind me, the family that owns Oracle, Paramount, Skydance, and controls the American TikTok algorithm will host a lavish oligarch's dinner for Donald Trump to ensure that the Ellisons can add another studio, another newsroom, and numerous movie and TV properties to their vast holdings, despite all of the provisions of American antitrust law. The Ellisons are making their sweetheart deal with President Trump right in front of the world to make sure that the buyout of Warner Brothers Discovery is approved. No matter that thousands of workers, writers, actors, and directors have written an open letter vehemently opposing it, let's thank the working people of Hollywood for standing up against this merger. The Ellisons already gave Trump millions of dollars in benefits to complete the Skydance merger. They smashed up CBS News and pulled pieces from the air to placate the president. They installed a minder spy, and they imposed the egregious right-wing polemicist, what's her name again? Bari Weiss. Bari Weiss as the editor-in-chief of CBS News. So, my friends, this is the most corrupt presidential administration in the history of the United States of America. Nothing even comes close to it. Every day that they're in office makes Watergate look like a meeting of the Cub Scouts at a picnic table. So the Department of Justice has been reduced to an instrument of political harassment and intimidation and revenge for Donald Trump, and it's been reduced to a facilitator of all of the corrupt mergers and money-making schemes that Donald Trump presents to them. We had come to the Judiciary Committee Roger Alford, who was second in command at DOJ Antitrust, and he came forward to blow the whistle on all of the corruption. He testified in a hearing, quote, "The pervasive practice of lobbyists attempting to corruptly influence antitrust law enforcement is corrupting the entire system of antitrust laws." He told us the corporate lobbyists now boast about their ability to overrule the professional experts and to overrule even President Trump's own attorneys in the antitrust division. The good news, my friends, is we're winning everywhere that we are fighting. We're winning in Hungary. We won yesterday in Virginia. We're winning in Florida. I just got back. I was down there with Emily Gregory, who just flipped a district by more than 20 points to win a state representative seat that represents Mar-a-Lago and Donald Trump in the Florida state legislature. We're winning all over the country. People are fighting back about this outrageous corruption of our government. Donald Trump made $1.5 billion in his first year in office. hundreds of thousands of times more than every other president in the history of the United States combined made. Nobody else went into office looking to turn the presidency into a money-making operation. And they are violating the Foreign Emoluments Clause. They are violating the Domestic Emoluments Clause every day that they are in office. We're not far from where they started it all off with the Trump International Hotel in Washington from the first administration. I'd like to call that one the Washington emolument. It was a stop on the tourist buses, but they've gone from the brick and mortar corruption where they were collecting mere millions of dollars from foreign governments and states through the golf courses and the hotels. Now they're taking billions of dollars, and the Trump family wants to be the richest family in the world by the time they leave office. How about if they just leave office and go do business on their own and give the government back to the people of the United States? My friends, I'll leave you with the words of two of the great democracy freedom fighters in our history, who we have to keep close in our hearts through these tough times. Frederick Douglass, who was born about 45 minutes away from here at the Wye River Plantation, born into slavery, escaped from slavery to become our great freedom fighter through the Civil War and through Reconstruction. And Douglass said, if there's no struggle, there's no progress. And the struggle may be moral, it may be physical, it may be moral and physical, but there must be struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, and it never will. A message to you from Frederick Douglass and the people of Maryland. And I'll leave you finally with the words of another great democracy freedom fighter, Thomas Paine, who got over here in 1774, and he fell in love with America, the promise of this country. He said, if America lives up to its ideals and its values, it will become, he said, an asylum to humanity. Not an insane asylum, mind you, but a place of refuge for people seeking freedom from political, economic, religious repression from all over the world. And then he wrote the great pamphlet of our history, Common Sense, by which he meant the sense we have in common when we're willing to speak together, reason together, listen to each other without all of the propaganda, disinformation, religious control, and so on. And so anyway, that was a tough year, 1776. His pamphlet ignited the American Revolution, but the country was split down the middle. Half of the people wanted to stick with the crown. They said, you can't beat the greatest military empire that ever existed. You can't beat the kings and the queens and the royals and the oligarchs. And half of the people said, let's give it a try. Let's fight for democracy and freedom. Let's put government on the principle of the consent of the governed and the unalienable rights and freedoms of the people, and the idea that all of us are created equal. And Paine wrote another pamphlet that year to give people courage and hope that we could make it through. And it's called The American Crisis. I just want to quote a little passage for you, and I'll update the language pursuant to strict instructions from Nancy Pelosi, who said Tom Paine was a feminist, and he wouldn't mind. He was fighting for women's voting rights in the 18th century, indeed. But anyway, he said, these are the times that try men and women's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will shrink at this moment from the service of their cause and their country, but everyone that stands with us now will win the love and the favor and the affection of every man and every woman for all time. Tyranny like hell is not easily conquered, but we have this saving consolation. The more difficult the struggle, the more glorious in the end will be our victory. Let's make that victory ours. Let's stop the mergers and the monopolies. Let's give the government and the economy and the society back to the people. Thank you.
There's one organization that's been a singular voice about the threat of corporate control of our media and the need for nonprofit media, community media, local media. We've never needed them more than we do right now. Next up, Craig Aaron, co-executive director, The True Free Press.
All right, thank you, Rob, for the very kind introduction. Public Citizen was my first job in Washington, D.C., and we have so much to thank them for. Really glad to be here. As Rob said, my name is Craig Aaron. I run an organization called Free Press. It is a group dedicated to supporting real journalism, fighting government censorship, and stopping media consolidation. Now, there is another Free Press that you may have heard of, and that's the Free Press that wrote so many god-awful columns that David Ellison paid $150 million for it and made the editor the head of CBS News. I want to be clear, that's not me. We are not a division of Paramount Skydance, because the real Free Press is out here with you. It is not in there sharing hors d'oeuvres with the people trying to censor free speech, with the people trying to kill independent journalism and trying to grease the wheels of their next mega merger. A real Free Press fights corruption. It doesn't pay bribes. Pursues the facts. It doesn't try to cover them up by spiking crucial stories. A real Free Press speaks truth to power. It doesn't cower and capitulate to would-be dictators. But ever since Paramount showed up, all of that and worse has happened at CBS. They've killed stories critical of the administration. Veteran journalists have quit because of the political pressure to warp and twist their coverage. They've installed bias monitors to please government censors, and they've fired people. Why? Because the president didn't like their jokes. And now, this, whatever this is, that used to be a lovely building where a lot of great people worked. But now when Donald Trump kicks CBS reporters out of the Oval Office, their bosses throw the president a party. When Pete Hegseth evicts journalists from the Pentagon, Paramount toasts him with champagne. When FCC Chairman Brendan Carr threatens their broadcast licenses, Paramount invites him again to dinner. I'll say this much for Paramount. It does not take an investigative reporter to expose their corruption. They're putting it on display tonight for all of us to see. And they're doing it because David Ellison and his mega billionaire daddy want even more media control. They want to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. They want to own HBO. They've promised sweeping changes to CNN the same way they've tried to clean house at CBS. No company should have this much media power, but especially not this company. We're here tonight to protect free speech. We're here tonight to defend press freedom. We're here to stop government censorship. We're here to end the corruption and stop the Ellisons from trashing even more of our media. And we are here to block a merger. So I hope all of you here can join me loud enough for state attorneys general to hear. Block the merger. Block the merger. Block the merger. Block the merger. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, brother. Norm Eisen is the founder of Democracy Defenders Action. Democracy Defenders has been one of the organizations suing the Trump administration over and over again. And Norm is looking at the broad landscape of where there are democracy struggles and finding a way to make a difference in every single one. He's been helping lead the charge to block this Paramount Warner Brothers merger. I'm looking forward to being at his side when we win. Norm Eisen.
Thanks, everyone, for being here. I'm going to read you from our invitation. Paramount and CBS, David F. Ellison, cordially invites you, all y'all, to an intimate gathering in celebration of the First Amendment, honoring the Trump White House and mashing in CBS News correspondents at the Donald J. Trump United States Institute of Peace. This resembles a celebration of the First Amendment the same way a book burning is a celebration of the written word. That has nothing to do with celebrating the First Amendment. Y'all are celebrating the First Amendment by being here to block the merger. I want to acknowledge my friend, my neighbor, my brother, Rob Weissman. He was the first person I called when I said, we got to block this merger, Rob. That was in the dark days. Seems like so long ago. It was 3 weeks ago. The dark days. And Rob said, oh, you got to call Free Press. I said, Barry Weiss? No, not that Free Press, Norm. And I want to acknowledge the coalition that came together. The Committee for the First Amendment, the Future Film Coalition, Public Citizen Free Press, the American Economic Liberties Project, the Writers Guild of America East and West. We got the whole country covered. CAP, and so many others who came together. And let me tell you how this letter, now over 4,000 strong, how this letter came together. I had a journalist call me earlier this week and say, oh, Paramount says you're being put up to it, paid off by Netflix. I'm like, I pay them $17 a month, not vice versa. They clearly don't know me. So I'll tell you the real story. And I told it to the journalist. To his credit, he printed it. I'm going to tell you the real story of how this opposition was born that has rocked the world today in the shareholder vote. They couldn't even get the rubber stamp working. They forgot to rubber stamp the over $700 million pay package for Zaz, David Zaslav. Even that supine, complacent shareholder vote said, no, we don't want that pay package. We don't want you to get the golden parachute, Zaz. Here's the real story. I was standing in line. I'm here on behalf of the Democracy Defenders Action. And I was standing in line with my colleagues on the legal team wearing my Democracy Defenders Fund hat, standing in line at the Supreme Court, just a little bit of a drive that a ways, waiting to go through security, part of the legal team for the birthright citizenship case. And Donald Trump doesn't get to choose which babies born here are citizens. Constitution makes that choice. And I got a call from Hollywood, producers, actors, writers. Right while I was there in line, Norm, we need to do a letter. We need to speak out. There was no Netflix or any other special interest involved. These are people who are taking their careers and their futures. Who needs the notes? Their careers and their futures and their lives in their hands. So we want to speak out loud, strong. We're not afraid. And we wrote that letter to block the merger. Right there, we talked it through on my cell phone. It would have been twice as long, but I had to go through security. And that letter now, today we announced another passel of working folks, but also movie stars. Bob De Niro signed on this morning. We're now over 4,000 strong. And that letter sends a message to the oligarchs having their corrupt cocktails and canapes behind us. Sends a message. We will not be bowed. We will not bend the knee and kiss the ring of Donald Trump like you Ellisons have done. We won't break CBS, the Tiffany network, tarnish Tiffany. We won't fire Stephen Colbert, push him off the air. We won't hold back a 60-minute story on people abducted, Venezuelans abducted to CCOT. We're going to stand up for good jobs for working people in Hollywood. We're going to stand up for the creative community. We're going to stand up for newsmakers who truly celebrate the First Amendment, who are truthful, not neutral. That is the message of that letter, and we sent it to the state AGs. And an amazing thing happened. No sooner did we get the letter out, the AGs had an antitrust winning streak. Live Nation Ticketmaster, boom! Next Star Tegna, bang! And you know it's a 1-3 punch. The Paramount Warner's merger is going to be the next one to be fought by the AGs and to be blocked by the AGs, and we're all going to do that together. That is the real celebration of the First Amendment. Thank you, friends.
It feels like Donald Trump has been president forever, but it's not true. And not so long ago, we had the most aggressive antitrust enforcement in the last 70 years or more in this country. And one of the great leaders of that antitrust movement was Alvaro Bedoya of the Federal Trade Commission. His term did not expire when Donald Trump took office, and he did not resign. He was going to stay and fight from the inside and do what he could. But Donald Trump illegally fired him from his office, but he could not illegally fire him or legally fire him from his role as a crusader for justice. Let's hear from Mr. Bedoya.
Hey folks, let's hear it for Public Citizen for having these fights for years and years and years. All right, friends, so I have a secret to share with you. It is a very poorly kept secret, but it is that the billionaires in that room, in that building, want us to think we have already lost. They paid their $1 million bribe for the Trump presidential quote-unquote library. Good luck with that. They canceled Colbert. They pulled down Jim Acosta. They pulled down John Dickerson. They promised to fire anybody else who wanted to criticize this president. They censored the El Salvadorian torture prisons. They promised to censor any coverage of this heinous illegal war in Iran. I saw Medea Benjamin earlier. Where's Code Pink? Where are you? They are trying to censor this war. And we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it. They think that because they paid these bribes and kissed the ring and did all that, they get to decide, and this deal is done. They get to decide what we watch. They get to decide what we pay. They get to fire thousands of writers and drivers and electricians and technicians all across the country, not just in Hollywood, not just in New York, in Santa Fe, New Mexico, in Atlanta, Georgia, in Savannah, Georgia, in Kentucky, in Tennessee, all across this country. They want to fire people while they get even richer. But we got news for them. Because you guys know what happens to corrupt, illegal billionaire mergers? They get blocked. They get blocked. For 3 years, I worked with the men and women at the Federal Trade Commission, about 10 blocks that way. You know what those folks do for a living, the career public servants at the FTC? They block corrupt, illegal, billionaire mergers. Kroger tried to buy Albertsons. You like the price of eggs and beef? They wanted to make it more expensive. They wanted to cut the wages, and here comes Trump now, doesn't he? Enjoy while you got it, buddy. You're not going to have it long. Here he comes for his fancy First Amendment dinner with the people who give him millions of dollars for his quote-unquote library. There he goes. The last time we had a merger like this, they spent $1 billion. Lawyers, lobbyists, you know what happened to it? Blocked. Penguin tried to buy Simon & Schuster, tried to screw over the writers that we love. You know what happened to that merger? Blocked. Two companies tried to corner the market on cancer meds. You know what had happened to that merger? Blocked. Two companies tried to drive up the price of computer chips. You know what happened to that merger? Blocked. You know what's going to happen to this merger? It's going to get blocked by Rob Bonta or the state attorneys general or the unions or the other folks suing or the members of Congress that were here today. Representative Jamie Raskin, Representative Rebecca Balint can, in office, day one when they have power, pass a bill to undo all of this, every single bit of it. Billionaires do not write the history of this country. Billionaires cannot buy and break our First Amendment. We will stop the merger. We're going to take our country back from these crazy oligarchs. Thank you, everyone, and keep up the fight. Block this merger.
The one good thing that's happening this evening is that they're putting the corruption out in the open. And they're making it clear to us that it's not just about Trump, it's also about the oligarchs. No one is calling out the threat posed by the oligarchs and the need for a revolution to devolve power to the everyday people more than our revolution. Let me bring up my friend Joe from our revolution.
Brothers and sisters, we are here for a very simple reason. We're here to fight the oligarchs and stop the corruption. Say it with me. Fight the oligarchs. Fight the oligarchs. Fight the oligarchs. Tonight, behind these closed doors, a billionaire media oligarch, David Ellison, is whining and dining Donald Trump in order to get sign-off for a mega media merger that would hand him control over what Americans see and hear. This ain't normal. This ain't democracy. This is corruption in plain sight. And it's happening at the United States Institute of Peace, a place that is supposed to stand for dialogue and truth. But it was shuttered by Donald Trump while he drags us into a terrible war in Iran. At a moment when we, the people, need accurate, independent reporting about the war, about power, and about what's being done in our name, Trump and the oligarchs are tightening their control over the media. And if approved, this merger would put major outlets like CBS and CNN under the influence of one family aligned with Donald Trump. And we already know where this leads, because Trump has showed us. He's defunded public media, he's sued outlets that challenge him, and he's weaponized the government against critics. This merger, brothers and sisters, is the next step. This isn't just an attack on the free press, it's capturing the press. And that's how oligarchy works, not just by controlling wealth, but by controlling information. And when you control information, you can justify anything: war, corruption, the abuse of power. And brothers and sisters, that is why this moment matters. Because our democracy ain't gonna collapse all at once. It's gonna erode deal by deal, merger by merger. And that is why we're here, to make sure the American people see exactly what's happening behind closed doors. We, the people, believe the media should serve the public, not the rich and the powerful. They may have the money, but we have the people and we have the truth on our side. So tonight, we're sending a message. Our media and our democracy is not for sale. Fight oligarchy, stop the corruption. Fight oligarchy, stop the corruption. Fight oligarchy, stop the corruption. Thank you.
Just like Joe and our revolution have been singular in focusing on the oligarchy and authoritarianism nexus, there's one organization which for decades has looked at the intersection of democracy and media democracy. That organization is Common Cause. We hear next from Andrea Fiegel of Common Cause.
Hi, everybody. I am really happy to be here on behalf of Common Cause and our 1 million members nationwide. I want to say these people in this building, they want to own it all. They want to own, ooh, I lost my notes. Hold on. They want to own it all. They want to own the studios. They want to own the news. They want to own the networks. They want to own CNN. It's all going to be controlled by one $110 billion corporation answerable to no one. And you know what we say? We say no. This merger is about power. It's about the power to decide what stories get told, what voices get heard, what gets called news, and what gets buried. We all saw what happened to CBS after the takeover. You control the stories, you control the terms on which everything else is contested. This blatantly corrupt merger will give Trump and his billionaire allies an unlawful media monopoly. It's going to harm consumers and workers. It's going to endanger our free speech and our free press. And we say, that's not democracy. When a handful of billionaires control the information that shapes our lives, that shapes our communities, that shapes our elections, that's not competition, that's control. That's not democracy. And the workers and the crews, they're fired. The journalists, they're cut. The news and the films that you care about, that I care about, that my kids care about, that's all gone. Also, a handful of elites sitting in that building so they can get richer. CNN is in this deal. It's one of the last major news organizations folded in to an entertainment empire built to extract profit, not produce journalism. That should terrify every single one of us who believes that a free press is not a luxury. Free expression dies when one corporation owns the microphone. That's not democracy. Real competition dies when there's nowhere else to go. That's not democracy. Journalism dies when the bottom line is the only line that matters. That's not democracy. Everyday people, working communities that already don't see themselves on their screens, in the headlines, they pay the price. Higher bills, fewer choices, less truth. State attorneys general, they have the ability to challenge the legality of this blatantly corrupt merger, and we are asking them to do it. We are here to make sure that they hear us. This is a corrupt deal. It is not a done deal. We are not powerless. We are not powerless. So I'm going to end with, let me ask you, whose media is this? Ours. Whose stories are these? All right, say it with me. Block the merger. Block the merger. Thank you.
Amazing. And you're so right. It's not the studios that own the culture, that produce the culture. It's the culture workers that produce the culture. It's those people who sign the letter, the actors, the directors, the writers, the showrunners, the lighters, the producers, the production people that produce the culture, the musicians that produce the culture. Our culture, our culture, our culture. I'm gonna keep saying that, Chris, while you come up. Our culture workers, our musicians, our singers for justice. Chris Matthews about to plug in here. Over to you.
Thanks so much. I think I'm going to just start with a real short prayer before we do a little bit of singing together. I can't wait for all these jokers to go to jail. I hope they throw away the key and don't set bail. And the cheers of jubilation will make it hard to hear that coffin's nail. I can't wait for all these jokers to go to jail. I want to sing a little song with you all now. We're talking about culture. This song is called Cancel Culture. And there's so much in this country of ours that we could and should be canceling instead of shows, instead of media, instead of all these other things. We have enough work to be doing. Folk music, I am by and large a folk singer. Folk music always does its job best when it is done with the people. Folk music is music of the people. And at the end of this song, as Dr. King said all those years ago, he said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that." At the end of this song, I sing "Drive out the darkness with the light." And I hope you might, if you will answer me back, "Drive out the darkness, drive out the darkness." Just in rounds of two like that. Can you do that? There's a whole lot in our culture I'd cancel if I could. Instead of banning books, I'd ban gerrymandering for good. The rich would feed the poor like the good Lord said they should. And every child, without exception, would feel loved and understood. No more whitewashing our history when the truth will set us free. No more watching corporate profits soar while people sink into poverty. No more telling kids they're flawed because you think that your God would. There's a whole lot in our culture I'd cancel if I could. There's a whole lot in our culture we should cancel right away. Instead of banning saying gay, we should ban racist holidays. Teachers should get to teach without worrying about their pay, or if they'll have an active shooter that they'll have to keep at bay. No more kids in bulletproof backpacks. It's a school, not a war. No more pretending that machine guns are what the Second Amendment was for. No more doing nothing because it's easier most days. Yeah, there's a whole lot in our culture we should cancel right away. There's a whole lot in our culture we could cancel if we tried. Instead of banning abortions, we could trust women to decide. Every size and shape of body normalized, and every type of mental illness can finally be destigmatized. No more squeezing and contorting into boxes we don't fit. No more saying that we're fine when we're not, but scared to admit it. No more telling little boys it's better not to cry. Yeah, there's a whole lot in our culture we could cancel if we tried. And we've been marching in these streets, singing we shall overcome, praying all the world would give up all their bombs and all their guns. I just want peace of every kind for the whole world tonight, and to believe that Martin was right. We can drive out the darkness with the light. Drive out the darkness. Drive out the darkness. We can drive out the darkness with the light. Drive out the darkness. Drive out the darkness. We can drive drive out the darkness with the light. Drive out the darkness. Drive out the darkness. We can drive out the darkness with the light. Thanks so much, everybody. This next song is called Forged in Fire. And this song is made to be sang together, just our voices. It's just a call and echo song. No guitar for this one. And I promise I'll sing you one more quick one with the guitar. But this song is made for our voices. These are the times, as you all can see, as you all are demonstrating, to be lifting our voices. And so it's just a call and echo. I sing it, and you just echo it right back to me. You feel like you can do a little bit of singing? Yeah. Is there fire in your eyes? Is there fire in? Then we can melt that ice. We can melt that. If we stand and fight, we're gonna be all right. Is there fire in your heart? Then you can do your part. Be a shot in the dark till that powder sparks. When faith is hard to find, when hope is on the decline, remember hate gets tired. Keep that steel in your spine. When faith is hard to find, when hope is on the decline, remember hate gets tired. Keep that steel in your spine. Is there fire in your mind? Then get on the front line. 'Cause old thinking dies. It's just a matter of time. Is there fire in your feet? Then start marching to the beat. No backing down, no retreat, till everybody gets free. When faith is hard to find, when hope is on the decline, remember hate gets tired. Keep that steel in your spine. When faith is hard to find, when hope is on the decline, remember hate gets tired. Keep that steel in your spine. Keep that steel in your spine. Keep that steel in your spine. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't win this time, and that's all right. It doesn't mean that we won't still win this fight. And it's a little darker now, but that's all right. It makes it easier to gather up the light. So wipe your face dry, roll your sleeves up. Even when they knock you down, you get back up, you don't give up. I know it hurts so bad to be so close, to have your dreams seem to all go up in smoke. And I know you're scared now, I know you're tired, but keep your mind set on freedom and your eyes on the prize. Wipe your face dry, roll your sleeves up. Even when they knock you down, you get back up, you don't give up. I know it feels like this is the end, but if we stop hoping, we stop fighting, and that's how a tyrant wins. It's not a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's a 1,000-day relay race, so rest and resist again. Wipe your face dry, roll your sleeves up. Even when they knock you down, you get back up, you don't give up. Even when they knock you down, you get back up, you don't give up. We didn't come this far just to come this far when there's so much left to lose. We didn't come this far just to come this far when the future's ours to choose. We didn't come this far just to come this far and not get what we were due. We didn't come this far just to come this far, so put on your marching shoes. Wipe your face dry, Roll your sleeves up. Even when they knock you down, you get back up. You don't give up. Wipe your face dry. Roll your sleeves up. Even when they knock you down, you get back up. You don't give up. Wipe your face dry. Roll your sleeves up. Even when they knock you down, you get back up. You don't give up. No, you don't give up. No, you don't give up. Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Chris Matthews. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
My friends, we are going to stop this war and make sure Congress does not give another dime. We are going to rename this place what it should be, the Institute of Peace. And we are going to block this merger. We're going to block the merger. We're going to block the merger. We're going to block the merger. We are going to block the merger. We are going to block the merger. Thanks, everybody, turning out.